everybody, this is Justin,
And this is Riley.
and today, welcome to Film Gauge. We are going to be talking
Definitely.
about 2001: A Space Odyssey. Wow, what a great movie! I absolutely love this movie. Actually, how do you feel about this movie? Even though I already know, but I'm asking for the audience.
I loved it. It's my favorite movie I've watched all year. I've watched I'm pretty sure I'm at like 276 this year. It's my favorite movie, and I definitely think it's one of my favorite movie of all times. Kubrick has actually made my top 5 list, I think, 3 times this year, and yeah, I love his directing, and I think that this movie is absolutely mind-blowing and great part of cinematic history.
I agree, man. And brief history about my experience with this movie. I think that might be a good starting point here. I found out about this movie through behind the scenes documentaries. Believe it or not, for Star Wars, they mentioned it in one of them, and I became interested in watching it through that. And I ended up watching it in middle school. I was in the 7th grade. What? What?
Go on. Go on. Just go on.
Okay. But I ended up watching it in middle school in the 7th grade, and it was a wonderful experience. Like, I remember, well, actually, scratch that. My first viewing, I was actually kind of bored with it, but
I hated it the first time. I watched it twice this year, and the first time, I was dying to get through it. I just did not want to open my eyes and look at it anymore.
yeah. But I think when I was in middle school, I was expecting something like Star Wars, not what we got.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, definitely.
but now that I'm older and I'm rewatching the movie, I absolutely fell in love with it. And, it's...
I think it really has something to do with your patience and knowing what a good movie is, like growing in that.
Yeah. So how did you become acquainted with this movie? What was your whole, experience with this movie?
Well, like I said, watched it at the beginning of the year. I hated it. Then I watched it for the second time, and yes, that second time was. I saw the true beauty of it. I saw the true skill that it took to make that kind of movie. Even the plot was great. It is hard to follow, but it's so good in that way, and it's so good in the way that you need to put the pieces together yourself. And even whenever you put the puzzle together, you don't have a 100% on what the puzzle looks like.
Yeah. And I think it's great that Kubrick kind of left this movie to be interpreted any way you want it. You can I don't think there is an incorrect interpretation that you can make of this movie as whatever you want it to be about. And
I think if you're interpreting it, then that means that you actually cared about the movie, and I respect your opinion on it.
yeah, I agree. And I've heard some stupid theories, or at least in my opinion stupid, but I respect them still. I respect them still. They're still entertaining. I remember hearing one that the monolith was the screen or something like that.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's the only one that doesn't make sense whatsoever, because even Kubrick has denied that himself, and there's almost no thing that points towards that in the movie. That was just a wild accusation thrown out by some movie person who wishes the movie was that way whenever it's not.
Yeah, yeah, but
So
it's still a fun
I can't
theory.
respect that.
Yeah,
No, it is fun. It's fun to look over, but once you look over it, you start to know that you can't respect that opinion.
yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, I should quit getting critical after saying I respect all opinions on it.
It's whatever, man. You can hold whatever review you
It's
want on
like
it.
me. It's like me whenever I'm saying I'll respect someone's opinion on a movie, but then they say that a bad movie was really good.
Yeah. So I want to mention that me and Riley both managed to get the 4K Blu-ray for this movie,
Yes.
and the 4K presentation for this movie is spectacular. Like,
Hmm.
it's. I mean, I don't know if it's as good as seeing it in a movie theater. I imagine that's even better. But like, it was pretty incredible, and that was actually the night that me and Riley really like started really analyzing this movie, and we just kind of wanted to talk
Yes.
about
Yes.
what we noticed that night because
Yep. And we watched it in 2 nights. We watched till the intermission, and then the second night watched the second half after intermission.
yeah, and we mainly did that I think because we got tired and it was late at night.
Yes. Yes.
But but yeah, we're here to talk about it. We're here to talk about what the conclusions we came to that night about this movie. So, talking about the opening with the dawn of man is what this part of the movie was called, and
Hmm.
the apes, or the sorry, not the apes, but the what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, let's just call them apes. We can just call them apes.
Yeah, yeah. So something really cool about the opening is the fact that you actually see the evolution as far as they start off eating plants and then they move on
Yes.
to eating meats. And wasn't that the point where the monolith showed up, if I remember correctly?
Um. Yes. Yes. I'm pretty sure that was the first major accomplishment by the human race, which made the monolith appear for the first time.
Yeah. And was something really cool that we noticed about the monolith in this movie. Riley noticed this one. It was something to do with the sun. What was it? The sun versus the moon.
Yeah. At the beginning, the it's facing towards the moon. Like the monolith is on Earth, facing towards the moon, and then as soon as they made another major accomplishment that made the monolith appear, the monolith was facing towards Earth, and it was on the moon. So it represented like a major accomplishment for the human race again in that way. It was really cool. Like from the beginning, you were looking up towards the moon, like you're never gonna reach that, and then your next one, you're on the moon, looking back at Earth.
Yeah, that's super cool. And again, it's a matter of like just showing like how far the human race has come from apes to now we're in space, you know? Like it's it's super cool.
Um, Stanley Kubrick called them man apes.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Good night.
Interesting stuff. So, another thing about the opening of the movie is we see conflict arise because they start like beating each other up and they have like the bone or whatever. And then
That was that was actually a battle between the tribes. They were fighting over who gets water.
oh,
And this is according to the screenplay.
that's right. That's right. Oh, and by the way, if you're kind of like lost on what we're talking about because maybe like you haven't seen this movie in a while, I strongly do recommend that you just give this movie like a rewatch before starting this
Yes. Yep.
movie so you at least know like can follow the video. That's just my recommendation anyway. Uh anyway, but something else,
I
what was that?
Sorry, this is a random comment. Um, you know, movies win awards for best screenplay and all that. This movie didn't, but that's because a lot of the stuff written on the screenplay isn't shown in the movie or isn't described in the movie because the screenplay is written like a novel. But if you just look over the screenplay, it's mind blowing how much information you'll learn about the movie.
Yeah, you know, and I regret that I haven't really looked at the screenplay much, but
I mean, um, one of the first scenes in the movie, it says it had not been a good day. Though as Moonwatcher had no real remembrance of the past, he could not compare one day with another. You're not gonna learn that in the movie. You're not gonna learn that it was not a good day. You're not gonna learn that his name was Moonwatcher. You're not gonna remember that he could not compare one day with another. You're not gonna learn all these details in the movie that you learn in the screenplay.
wow. That's crazy, dude. Wow. That gives a lot of
It's like a novel.
that gives so much more context to things. Wow.
I know.
Interesting.
Okay, go on.
So, this is not quite as mind-blowing as what Riley just dropped on me, but something else cool about the opening that I noticed is whenever he throws the bone up in the air and then they match the angle of the bone and they switch to the shot of the satellite in space.
Yes.
It is like almost perfectly lined up, like in terms of the angle that they are at. Uh, I might show a clip in the video of the transition I'm talking
That's
about.
that's great directing right there.
Yeah, it's super cool. And I think some of the more interesting things is just to look at some of the stuff going on in the space station because I find it super interesting. We're kind of like fish out of water in space, you know? Like it's like we're having to
Yeah.
relearn things.
Yep.
Like there's instructions on how to use the bathroom. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
uh there's like a whole like different way that they're like consuming the food. I'm trying to remember some of the other stuff that we noticed that night. This night was like a month
I
ago.
don't know, but I remember the food. I do remember the food.
Yeah, this night was like a month ago, and we meant to make this video a long time ago, and we never got around to it.
Bro, this night was like 3 months ago.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
I'm pretty sure it was August.
We should have taken notes. But oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But hey, we got a lot to talk about
Yeah.
just from our heads.
Yeah, we love this movie. It's such a good movie. Uh,
I was sorry. I know I keep talking about like sub things from the movie, and then you have to get us back on track. I was gonna say, yeah, I was struggling to choose this movie over Clockwork Orange, but after watching it the second time, it destroyed Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Orange is great, but this is Kubrick's best accomplishment.
yeah. 2001 really is his magnum opus. I feel in terms of movies. In my
But Clockwork Orange is still great.
Yeah, it's still really good. For me, my top three Kubrick films is this, The Shining, and A Clockwork. So,
Agree. Yep.
and then maybe Full Metal Jacket would
Um,
go a little below that.
yeah. Kubrick movies get better the more you watch them. Clockwork Orange and The Shining is tied for me for second.
Yeah,
Just
I need
because
to watch Clock.
The Shining is, yeah, again,
I was,
I do too. But The Shining was better the second time also.
yeah, it was. I've watched that movie 3 times since I first watched it, and every time I
Yeah.
watch it really does get better for me. So, but we can talk about The Shining some other time. But we're here to talk about 2001. Uh,
I guess we're just talking about Kubrick again.
yeah, that's what this channel is about. We talk about Kubrick.
Yeah.
uh,
It's fun though. I like him.
yeah, and again, we kind of apologize for the kind of unstructured uh, vibe of this video. I guess we just kind of wanted
Yeah.
to talk about the movie and have a discussion.
Yeah. We're kind of like in ER, like someone dying and then coming back. On like a life scanner. Sorry, that was a little aggressive. I mean, it's back and forth between Kubrick and Space Odyssey and random other stuff we get from our heads.
Yeah, basically. We're very random. We're
Yeah.
very unorganized. We just like talking about
We've
movies. We just like discussing movies.
we've been talking we've been talking about movies that aren't 2001: A Space Odyssey for 2.5 minutes now.
Let's talk about Hal. Because I feel like that's the next most interesting thing to talk about. Hal is
Yeah,
like one of the best characters that has been in a Kubrick film.
he is. I love the voice portrayal of him too.
Yeah, it's very unsettling. Like I mean I don't know if unsettling is the word for it,
Very.
but it's just
I, I don't know. Kubrick's specialty is unsettling,
yeah. There's something just
even in Eyes Wide Shut.
yeah. But what's super interesting is when I was watching the movie the first time, in some ways he shows more human tendencies than the actual people in the spaceship seem to be showing sometimes. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Uh, and whenever they shut him down, near the end of the movie, man, that almost feels like a person's actually like dying, dude. Like I really felt for that, man.
Yeah. Yep.
I love the cinematography during that scene too. The whole like room that you're in, like with all the lights and stuff. I think that all looks really
Yeah.
cool.
Yep. And so let's skip to that room real quick. What do you think that room is?
I think it's pretty. Well, I think the movie already kind of said it's his brain. Like it's like how he operates. You know, like that's why they had to shut it down. But I think the more interesting thing that I think Hal brings up in the movie is like the bridge between what makes somebody human versus a an AI. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like can an AI feel in the same way that a person can? You know, I don't know. That's
Mhm.
kind of what kind of came to mind whenever I was watching that movie
Yeah.
when I was watching it anyway.
Yep.
And I don't know if
Um.
that's what he's the kind of thing thoughts he's supposed to evoke when you watch him. But wait, does Hal have a gender? Is he was he called a he in the movie, or is it just called an it? I don't remember.
I have no idea. I have no idea. I can't
Well,
remember.
it sounds like a
It's been
he.
like 3 months.
It's a man's voice, so I'm gonna call Hal a he for now.
Yeah. So this movie's 3 hours long, right?
I believe it's like 2.5. I think it's almost three
Two and a
hours
half.
though. It's pretty close.
Well, guess how many pages the screenplay is?
How many?
65.
You for real?
It's only 65 pages.
Wow.
Yet movies do 1 page a minute, and Kubrick's over here like, let's just let's just write a novel in 60 pages and make it into a near 3 hour movie.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Okay, so the monolith appears on the moon. We already talked about what happened there. Um, it really buzzed out their intercoms whenever it happened. So it was a very strange event for them in the moment, and for us as viewers watching the movie. Um, they obviously were looking at it like, where did this come from? What was different from their reaction and the ape's reaction?
Well, what I think the difference was the reason why the monolith got angry. That's why how I interpret it anyway. What the sound was. I think the difference is when they were apes, they worshipped the thing. Like they
Yeah,
bowed down to it pretty
yeah,
much. But when the astronauts found it on the moon, they thought they were above it.
true.
That
I like that. Yep.
that's
Mm-hmm.
that's my interpretation of it anyway. Uh,
Yep.
Sorry if you hear that in the background. My cat is meowing. Maybe you don't hear it at all, but
Nope, I don't. But yeah, I like that. Thanks for that answer.
yeah, that's the way I
Um,
interpret it anyway.
yeah. So are we on the same track that the monolith appears every time the humans make a big major accomplishment, or what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think it's sort of a benchmark type of thing. Like anytime that the humans
Yeah.
are stepping into a next
Mm-hmm.
evolutionary stage or something like that, they show up or it shows up. What do you think the monolith is? Do you think it's some sort of like extraterrestrial thing? Do you think it's like a godlike entity, or what? What do you think it is?
Yes, I think I think it's like a godlike thing watching over them, and the more achievements the humans make, the closer they get to being with that god. So as soon as they got really close to being with that god, the humans had to re evolve, which is why there's like a baby type thing at the end of the movie. That's my take on it.
Interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. And you know, I'm pretty sure we watched an interview with Stanley Cooper where he kind of talked
Yes.
about the
Yeah, he did.
monolith, and then he kind of call it like a god-like entity of some sort.
Yes. Yeah, he did.
So I think we can almost pretty much confirm that that's kind of what it
Yeah.
is.
Hmm.
But what do you think is up with the baby thing or the big fetus at the end of the movie?
Yeah. I think it's just humans restarting their evolution phase. I think that since they got so close to the gods, they have to restart, get put back to where they were at the beginning, but with the exact same Earth.
Yeah, and maybe they entered some type of higher level of enlightenment, like spiritually or
Yeah,
mentally.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I wasn't thinking that, but no, true. That definitely could be the case.
Do you think maybe that's what was?
Because why start?
Sorry to interrupt. Do you think that maybe that was going on whenever, like, remember when he entered that white room and you just see him slowly aging over time?
Yeah, and every time he looked at himself, he got older.
Do you think that maybe that was just like maybe he was leaving his? Actually, I don't know about that. Never mind. I was gonna say maybe like his old body was decaying, and maybe the fetus that we see is the same person that was in the white room.
Well, yeah, no, it could be the same person, but I think that white room is he got so close to the godlike trait that he got trapped in that place until death. I think there was no possible way for him to get out of there. I think he was in a loop because of how high he went in accomplishments or achievements for the human race.
Yeah, and so he entered a new stage of human evolution.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's when he comes back to Earth with everything that he had learned.
Yeah.
What do you think he would have done? The fetus would have done if he landed on Earth, or what would have happened afterwards? I don't think I've ever thought about that before. But
Like, what do you mean by that?
like when the fetus actually like arrives on the planet, and what happens next? Like, do the people like look at that thing, that big giant fetus, as some sort of godlike entity of some sort, the same way that they looked at the monolith? Or do they maybe get threatened by it and maybe they tried to kill it or something? I don't know. Like, what do you think happens?
Well, here's my thinking, okay? Now, let's completely destroy the fact that there's a 2001 Space Odyssey 2, okay?
Yeah, I haven't even seen that movie.
Let's destroy that movie. Let's destroy what happens in that movie. My thinking is that the time that he spent in that room at the end of the movie is the time that it took for the rest of the humans on Earth to die off. So I think once he gets put back on Earth, he's like the very first human.
Oh, so like,
Now,
so
that is a wild accusation. It's just total guess, but that's my thinking.
interesting. I like that. I like that too. Wow.
Because like, I know that this movie has nothing to do with Interstellar and that Kubrick wasn't even alive for Interstellar, but like Interstellar, a different area after going to the black hole, time was differently for him, I think that's kind of how it was whenever he was aging at the end of 2001 Space Odyssey. I feel like just Earth was dying off whenever he was in that room.
Huh. That's cool. I like that. Sorry for sounding like a bunch of loonies. We just love examining movies and talking about them.
Especially Kubrick
Yeah,
movies.
we just love overanalyzing this stuff. If you really want to see some real crazy theories about Kubrick films, watch the Shining documentary, Room 137.
Yeah. Yep.
That was. I hope I didn't get the number wrong. I'm pretty sure it was 137, but
It was 137. Don't ring a bell.
room two. It was
It's not
237. It was 237.
Okay.
Sorry, film fans everywhere. I messed that up. But yeah. If you want to see some real wild theories about movies, just watch Room 237. Like, interesting movie.
That was very interesting scene in The Shining.
Yeah, for sure.
Whew, that room gives me the creeps in that movie.
Yeah. So,
But Sorry.
No, you go on.
I'll let you talk because I was about to start analyzing The Shining.
Oh, yeah, we're not here to talk about The Shining.
I was.
All I was gonna say is
I was ready for it.
All I'm saying is that we're 25 minutes in, and I feel like we need to cut it soon.
Yeah. I think we talked about everything we need. We talked about it from start to finish.
All right.
So yeah.
Well, thank you guys for everyone that maybe stayed till the end. I hope you enjoyed our crazy, stupid theories on The Shining that may be complete bullshit, but we like it anyway.
Shining? Justin. The Shining?
I mean, 2001: A Space Odyssey. I'm sorry, I'm running off like 4 hours of sleep.
Tune in for our next 50 videos about Kubrick.
yeah. Sorry for I'm out of it today. I had like 4 hours of sleep last night, so like.
All right.
All right. Well,
Thank
you for staying till the end. If you did, I hope you guys enjoyed our loony, stupid theories about 2001: A Space Odyssey. We will talk to you guys later. Bye.